This is BYU Sports Nation, brought to you by the BYU Store, simulcast on BYU TV and BYU Radio. Now from Studio B, your hosts, Spencer Linton and Blaine Fowler.
BYU Sports Nation is live, your day-to-day play-by-play back in Studio B, presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere. It is Tuesday, May 3rd. Wherever and however you're connected, great to have you with us. I am Spencer Linton, teamed up with a man who has never, and I mean never, thought of getting his nails professionally done until he saw mine, that is, Blaine Fowler.
Can people see? Have people seen this already? I know it was out there on social media, but look at these things.
Taylee Williams of BYU Softball.
So when I saw it, I was just like, man. And I don't like. Here's what I love. Look,
the index fingers. Look at the attention to detail by Taylee with the Nike sign and the stretch Y.
I'm
loving index
it.
fingers.
I mean, this is attention to detail. This is artistry
right?
At its best. And I'm going to admit, honestly, when I saw it, I felt the need to get it done. So I went down to the local shop, and they looked at me weird, and I got a pedicure. And then I picked out a royal blue color for the paint, and they said, "Are you sure you don't want to go with clear?" So I went with clear. Nobody was cooperating with me. But because of you, I did get a nice pedicure.
Wow. Well, you do look
I'm
very fresh.
I'm very, very jealous. That is epic. And what did Brittany say?
Well, so she found out because one of our production staff members, David Holliday, shared the photos with me, and my wife and I have the same iCloud photo account. And so randomly, these pictures of me with my royal blue nails just start showing up on her phone. And she's like, send a text message. Are you getting royal blue gel nails put on?
It's Spencer's artistic side. It's coming out. We spent a week at the Masters with one another a couple weeks ago, and you should hear this guy sing in the car too. So I think with the nails done, we get you some eyeliner and stuff. We put a guitar in your hand. We put you on stage, and you are home.
Yeah. I missed my true calling in life as a lead singer of a rock band, right?
That's what you should
be. Of an 80s butt rock
That's what
band.
You should be. And I could see you with a long, flowing, big hair as well. That would be fun.
I also learned that these usually last like at least 3 weeks. So Taylee said, "Hey, don't worry. I will take them off for you."
So
it's legit gel.
It's gel. Okay.
It's gel. It's next level.
Very nice.
Your wife, Brenda, would appreciate the quality of this.
I know. She saw him.
If she needs her nails done, Taylee Williams, BYU Softball.
Got it.
She's got a huge clientele base, but there's always room for more, right?
There we go.
And there's definitely room for today's show lineup. We are discussing the big issues, big questions within BYU basketball, specifically with Trent Playstead, who's going to join us. Trent played in like 78 countries on the European circuit.
We're going to talk to him about that.
Holy cow.
I mean, we're going to at my count, Italy, Croatia, Ukraine, Turkey, France, Germany, Japan. And I might be missing. He might have had a stop in Greece at some point, but I want to ask him about what that experience is
needless
like.
to say,
I can't wait to talk to him about that.
He's got great insight into what BYU guys playing in Europe are going through right now. Guys like Jake Toolson, right? Also, he has strong opinions on the current state of BYU basketball. Is it time to panic with so many players leaving for the transfer portal, other options, and, of course, some attrition from graduation? We'll get Trent Playstead's opinion on that. Also, we have another record breaker on the show today, Blaine. This is what track and field does. They just break records, and they come on BYU Sports Nation. The mystery guest will join us in about 35 minutes. But first, bring on today's BYU Sports Nation headlines.
Let's start with BYU baseball. They begin a 4-game stretch in California today, going against Cal State Fullerton, 9 p.m. Eastern time, before playing a 3-game series against Pepperdine on the coast. Batcats are coming off a 1-2 series against San Francisco. They won the last game in that series.
Now, following the record-breaking weekend I was just referencing, women's track and field remain ranked number 8 in the latest USTF CCCA poll. That out yesterday. The men's team drops 5 spots to number 13. Both top 15 programs and both very well deserving.
Yeah, we use the elite word sparingly, but BYU's track and field program and cross-country programs, elite.
Absolutely. On
a national level, no question about it. Let's stick with our women's sports right now. Marissa Chavez has been named WCC Softball Player of the Week. First of her career, she led the conference with a .643 batting average last week. She recorded 4 doubles, 4 runs, 9 hits, and 8 RBIs on the week.
Yeah, when she was 5 for 5 with 6 RBI in the first 2 games of the series against Santa Clara, I thought, yeah, she's probably going to win West Coast Conference Player of the Week.
So, and again, another women's sport that's lights out every single year.
They delivered. By the way, BYU Softball, unfortunately, game canceled against Utah today because of inclement weather. This is the second time it's been, well, the first time it was postponed. Now it's been canceled. There are no plans to reschedule that game.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Well, at least the Utes have to sit on that dramatic loss to BYU from last year.
The rain's good for my dried out lawn, though. So I got to look at the bright side.
I'm glad you're here. Everything from optimistic rain outlooks to, where Blaine can get his nails done professionally. BYU men's golf. Carson Lundell specifically named a member of the WCC All-Conference team. This is a 3rd straight year for Carson. This season, he had 10 top 25 finishes, 7 top 10s, and 2 top 2 finishes. Carson's balling out.
Yep. Is that what we call it in golf, balling out?
You don't know.
So we were balling out at the Masters.
Absolutely, we were.
Let's go to volleyball. USA Volleyball named its 2022 under-21 roster and its coaching staff. This included Heather Olmstead as assistant coach. The U21 team will begin training on May 26 in Shreveport, Louisiana, before competing in the Pan American Cup in June down in Mexico.
Women's tennis received several WCC honorable mentions. Leah Heimuli, cousin of our friend Houston, and Hema Heimuli.
All Heimulis belong to BYU.
She's named an honorable mention for singles, while Bobo Huang and Anastasia Abramyan got honorable mention for doubles.
The former BYU Cougar Jordan Mateus is currently in the pool of 42 players to be considered for Team USA in the Rugby World Cup, which kicks off in October of this year down in New Zealand.
Jordan Mateus is the real deal. And also comes from an elite lineage in terms of family. Remember Alexa Gray, who was outstanding on BYU Women's Volleyball?
That's right.
Sister.
That's right. It's Mattias. I got Matyas.
I almost want to sing the Mickey Mouse song when you said it. Matyasmouse.
Well, way to go, Jordan.
This just in from Brett McMurphy of Stadium Sports. He reports that Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston are negotiating, listen to this, a $17 to $20 million buyout per team with the AAC to be able to enter the Big 12 by next season with BYU.
Right, and that's huge news because everybody just said there's no way that's going to happen. They're going to have to stay in the 8. The buyout was going to be too big. That Texas and Oklahoma were probably going to stay in the Big 12 for a couple years, and that other than BYU, this league was going to morph into itself over a period of 3 years. How about that? It's
going to be a 14-team league.
Huge news.
For at least 2 years. Wow. The Big 12 becoming the Big 14? All rise and shout. It's time for What's Trending.
You're talking about it, and so are we. It's What's Trending on BYU Sports Nation.
Let's bring on Blaine for multiple topics today because there's a lot happening within BYU sports. I know it's May 3rd, but guess what? There is much to talk about, Blaine, following the NFL draft specifically over the weekend. We saw a graphic yesterday that listed the current Big 12 teams and the soon-to-be Big 12, including UCF, Cincinnati, Houston, and BYU, and the number of draft picks that came from all of those schools. Now, if you haven't seen that graphic, not to worry. We're about to inform you what was put out into the draft. From Cincinnati, not surprisingly, college football playoff team, 9 draft picks, Blaine. 9 from Cincinnati. 3 from Houston, 1 from UCF, 1 from BYU. Okay, now Oklahoma we know is a football juggernaut. They put in 7 players to the NFL draft. But Texas, mighty Texas, a big 0.
Can you believe that?
And Fox College Sports said, you know what, we're just going to leave this right here. They put out the information.
Didn't comment about it.
We're just going to leave this right here. Baylor was 6. We knew Baylor was a real deal, and
right.
BYU matched up with those guys. And a handful of other teams in the Big 12, Iowa State 4, Oklahoma State 3. Like, these are some nice numbers. But, Blaine, the question is the talent gap between the current Big 12 featuring Oklahoma and Texas and the soon-to-be Big 12 with the addition of BYU, Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston smaller than we thought? Is there a talent gap at all?
Yeah, and I think it's a great question. I feel like, and we've talked about on this very show on multiple occasions, the fact that independence for BYU, especially the last several years, has allowed for BYU to upgrade the talent level, to upgrade the depth level, to play against better competition, and to prepare themselves to make a transition into the Big 12, that's probably going to be a little bit easier than Utah's into the Pac-12. Utah went right from the Mountain West to the Pac-12. It was a big jump. They didn't have that kind of interim time that BYU has had, and I think the talent gap is not as big as everyone thinks it is, and this speaks to that. Of course, Cincinnati, they have a once-in-a-lifetime group of guys right now at Cincinnati. They're not going to have 9 draft picks every year. They had a bunch of senior leadership that all came back. They had a bunch of COVID seniors because they knew that they'd have a chance to do something special, maybe win a national championship.
They reminded me a little bit of what you and BYU were doing in 1983 and 1984. Lost 1 game in 83, then went undefeated in 84. That's exactly what Cincinnati did in 2020 and 2021. Lost 1 game, and they went undefeated, got to the college football playoff. Well, I should say they went undefeated to get to the playoff before they lost.
Right, and you think about Baylor, and as we look at the Big 12 overall, 25 total picks, you look at them overall, Baylor with 6 picks. That doesn't surprise me. They won the league. Everybody looks at BYU playing Baylor and they're saying, man, Baylor kind of pushed BYU around. Well, BYU had a lot of injuries at that point, and Baylor pushed everybody around.
They were the Sugar Bowl champions in the Big 12 champs.
Including everybody in their league.
Yes.
Including in the Sugar Bowl. And what Baylor did was similar to Cincinnati. They had a bunch of players that because of the COVID season felt like, hey, we've got work left to do. If you remember, their entire starting secondary and all 5 of their offensive linemen were returning COVID seniors. So 5- and 6-year guys in the program. And so they were set up to push people around and to be really, really good. And they had great skill players. And so, I'm not saying that's a once in a lifetime for Baylor because Baylor's a big time program that can recruit. But 6 is a lot for Baylor. I think, and things go in cycles, I think BYU's going to have multiple draft picks next year.
BYU had 5 last year, 1 this year. But guess what? When we push forward to next year, we've been discussing it over the past week or two. This might be a team that has another 5 guys drafted next year, including a couple in the first 2 rounds.
Right. You could have Blake Freeland's getting all kinds of talk from national pundits that evaluate drafts. There's way too early to talk, but they're talking him as a potential first rounder. Jaron Hall could play himself into a first or second round draft pick this next year. What about Nakua? What about Romney, who's coming back?
Peyton Wilgar.
What about Peely? There's BYU is going to be more like last year in terms of draft picks, maybe more. And so it does cycle a little bit. And when we look at that, BYU had 5 last year. They only had 1 this year. They're going to say they have 5 or 6 next year and a couple of early rounders. They will fit right into the Big 12 in terms of talent. And these numbers, they bear that out. I think it bears it out.
We've heard the coaches in the Big 12, Mike Gundy, Dave Aranda. And on the basketball side, I mean, we've heard from the top tier coaches on the basketball side in the Big 12, the best conference in basketball, we think right now, say, look, yeah, we're losing you, Texas and Oklahoma. There's not going to be a drop-off.
Yep. In both sports, you're exactly right.
I'm buying into what the coaches are saying in the Big 12.
Well, let's talk about basketball a little bit, about BYU basketball in specific. With Seneca Knight, another player now entering the transfer portal, BYU Hoops, we look at their returning offensive production from last season. 33.6 points a game is all that's coming back. We've been talking about this a little. Is now the time to panic about next year's Hoops?
Yeah, I'm not faulting anyone for being like, whoa, okay, maybe we really need to assess what the heck is going on here. Mark Pope has 4 open scholarships to work with right now on May 3rd. This is alarming because he's got 3 return missionaries coming back. I'm not counting those for the 4 open scholarships. They're taking 3 of them.
So basically there's 7.
7, right?
Going to be 7 new guys.
And they're going to give 3 to the return missionaries that are coming home, including Dallin Hall and, Toolson and Saunders. They've got some guys, but they need time to acclimate and adjust and work in. So he's got some big holes to fill with hopefully some top-tier talent out of the transfer portal. Because, and I said this 2 weeks ago, because Mark Pope has already had success at Utah Valley for 2 years and at BYU for 2 years, specific to getting big guys in the transfer portal, that offers me some relief. I feel like Mark Pope has proven his ability to go out and get top-tier talent in the transfer portal, not just at BYU. He was doing the same thing at Utah Valley. I mean, in fact, he brought some guys from Utah Valley with him to BYU. including Jake Toolson, who's an all-timer now, right? Oh, what an incredible senior season Jake Toolson had when he started at BYU, left, and then came back. Mark Pope has done this with Matt Harms. Brandon Averett was at Utah Valley. He got him to Utah Valley, and then he got him to BYU. Okay, this is not new for Mark Pope. Alex Barcelo, transfer portal guy from the University of Arizona. So that gives me relief in this. I don't think it's time to panic. Now, if we get to July and that transfer portal starts to calm down a little bit and a bunch of guys are still saying no to BYU, then I think, okay, now we're in trouble.
Well, and I look at what he has coming back, and we talk about the freshmen coming. We have to remember, and if we compare this to football and to what Kalani did, we kept saying to everybody, you've got to let Kalani's first missionary recruiting class get back and get acclimated before you start to judge it. This here represents Tanner Toolson, Dallin Hall, and Richie Saunders. That is Mark Pope's first missionary recruiting class.
Yeah, first real recruiting class, it feels like.
So now remember, Foos and Atiki are not LDS. They're both Muslims, so they came right in and played last year as freshmen. But at BYU, it's when that recruiting pipeline, with your primary focus, recruiting the top LDS athletes in the country, when they get back from their missions and that pump starts to produce every single year, guys like Colin Chandler, who's going out, then you can start to judge the program and how it's going to be long term. So those guys, I think Dallin Hall is going to contribute this year. I think Toolson is a phenomenal shooter. I think all three of these guys will have a contribution. Dallin Hall may be the most, and I don't know, Toolson may become a great shooter, but 2 years from now, as they transition to the Big 12, these are some big-time building blocks. And then the two freshmen that came in last year, who aren't missionary kids, and Foos and Atiki, those two, I think, will take massive jumps this year. And that's saying something, consider how good Foos was as a freshman. 9.6 points a game. He was a rebounding machine. I feel like his peak is way above where he is. He is going to be a dominant player and a really, really good player in the Big 12. And Atiki's just barely scratching the surface. Averaged just 3 points a game this last season. But he's a guy that I think is going to take a massive jump forward. And I also think that Trevin Nell, Gideon George, and Spencer Johnson, with different roles this next year, where Alex Barcelo's not the alpha dog and everything built around him, every one of those guys is going to step it up. I will make a bet with you right now that all 5 of those guys that are coming back and represent that 33-plus points that we talked about will have better numbers this year. Every one of those guys will step it up. And now you add a couple of transfers. I think they need a big, I think they need a wing, and I think they need a point.
Absolutely, they need a point.
Those three. And then you add these 3 freshmen that are coming back from missions. I think they're in a good position, and I think they're in a really good position 2 years from now as they transition to the Big 12, as the next recruiting class that are missionaries start to filter back.
Yeah, they need some size. They need to go get some bigs. And as you said, a point and a wing. But they got 4 spots, and scholarships are like, hey, come and play now. Hopefully that's a recruiting advantage where it's like, I need you now. Like, you can be the guy now.
Yeah, I'm not going to be surprised if they go out and win 20 games again this year.
For sure.
Yep, there
because
you go.
The starting lineup right now, as currently constituted right now, Blaine, Dallin Hall, the point guard, Spencer Johnson on a wing, Gideon on a wing, Atiki and Foos the bigs. It's pretty young.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot. There's going to be lots of tweaks and changes to what that roster looks like between now and when they start to play.
Be very different than what I just mentioned. Our question of the day: is it too early to be concerned about next season for BYU basketball? I've seen several different strong opinions on this very question on Twitter, so now we're going to focus in on that and ask you once again in Voice of the Nation.
This is the Voice of the Nation on BYU Sports Nation.
Preston Pedersen on Twitter says, there is no reason to be concerned. Wow, I like that confidence. I still see Foos, Atiki, Johnson, Nell, and George on that roster. Plus, add in some talented freshmen, which you mentioned, Blaine. They're going to be just fine. I'm sure BYU basketball, will land a couple of decent talent prospects from the transfer portal as well. They need them. They need a high-level point guard, and they need a high-level big. They need those two things to compete right now if they truly want to compete for a West Coast Conference. We won't call it championship, but like for second place.
Yeah, good take by Preston. I think Spencer and I agree wholeheartedly with that take.
Yeah.
So, well, is this the ultimate way to endear yourself to the BYU fan base?
Oh,
Talk about that.
Goodness.
There's the question.
And as promised, the world traveler Trent Plaisted, former professional pro ball player, he's going to assess if he's ready to push the panic button on BYU basketball. Stay with us for more BYU Sports Nation.
When my grandfather started this company in 1947, he couldn't have envisioned what we would ultimately become. We realized that our value to our customers is that we will be there day after day, year after year, doing whatever we need to find solutions to the challenges that they face. We are committed to be honestly better in all that we do, in every opportunity that we have to serve our customers.
Trio Orem Senior Living believes in empowering seniors to live life to the fullest. We help eliminate stress out of daily life when you live at Trio. Less time focusing on housework means you can socialize at one of our many events, with safety in mind, of course. And did we mention our spacious apartments with modern amenities? Learn more about setting up a private tour at trioorem.com.
Uh-oh. Do you not know the groom's name?
I missed it on our first date, and it's way too late to ask.
Whenever you experience something funny, the first thing you want to do is like share it with your loved ones. Seeing that comedy like helped us through things, like we want to use that to help other people in a way.
We had one kid whose make-a-wish was to come to Studio C. It made me be like, these goofy sketches mean a lot to people.
BYU Sports Nation is presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere.
BYU Sports Nation has its own YouTube channel. Get all the interviews as well as BYU Sports Nation right now episodes by subscribing to and share the BYU Sports Nation YouTube channel.
We are live in Studio B. This is your day-to-day BYU Sports play-by-play on Tuesday, May 3rd. I'm Spencer Linton alongside Blaine Fowler. It is our pleasure now to welcome in the world traveler of a former professional basketball player, BYU all-time great, former NBA draft pick, Trent Plaisted joins us over Zoom. Trent, welcome back to BYU Sports Nation.
Yeah, what's up, guys? It's been a while, but always good to be with you and join the Sports Nation crew. So I'm excited to chat with you for a few minutes.
Trent, can you somehow figure out some more eligibility somewhere so that you can come back and play a little center for Mark Pope and BYU basketball? Because they need some size, man.
Listen, I try to stay fit, but I want no part of running up and down that floor again. I retired for a reason. I've played enough games in my life. If I wanted to still play, I'd still be playing. I want nothing to do with it. Plus, they couldn't afford me.
Hey, wait. And we save the word elite on this show for very few people, Trent. But I remember when you stepped on the scene here, and I think Trent was the first guy I called a freak.
Oh.
And a freak's a good thing, right, Trent?
It's a compliment.
At 6'11", Trent comes in here with a 41-inch vertical jump and the ability to run a 4.640. Somebody that is a freak. Freaking, it's okay to be called a freak, right, Trent? Is that okay?
Yeah. Oh, listen, I've embraced the freak moniker a long time ago. There's those that like slunters. I'm a proud freak, if that's a good thing to say, but I think that's a fair statement to some degree.
Okay, Trent, let's now discuss the current BYU basketball roster, because it feels like it's slim pickings now. A bunch of guys have left, and we think that there is potentially a freak athlete on that roster in Fousseyni Traore. So let's start with him. Is he the next guy that would step into that freak athlete role to lead BYU?
Yeah, I think so. And first of all, congrats on the way you just pronounced that name. That was well done.
Oh, thank you.
First of all, I couldn't do that. That was really well done. But yes, I absolutely think so. I mean, he had a great freshman year. He's just a really great athlete. Just seems like a really solid person overall. So there's a lot of promise there. I think he's going to take a big step this next year. I get the concern to some degree. I also think that, you got to kind of, given the fact that Mark Pope has had a lot of success, you kind of got to pump the brakes a little bit on that. And he's earned that right to this point. So like the truth is always somewhere in the middle, right? So that's kind of where I stand on the scale. I'm not necessarily hitting the panic button. I'm not necessarily overly excited about losing 7 people. I'm kind of right there in wait and see mode.
What about, so there's two freshman bigs that they brought in. The other is Atiki Ali Atiki, a little more raw perhaps than Foose, but longer. And he looks like he has a body that he's the kind of guy that could take them into the Big 12 and play. What's your analysis on Atiki in his freshman year?
Yeah, I agree with you. And what's interesting to me is, like, from the times I've played, I mean, like, big guys, if you look across the country these days, a lot of them are more of that, like, just raw athlete, rebounder, defender. You're not getting a lot of bigs anymore. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to say I was the best or worst or whatever, but, you know, I averaged 16 points a game or 17 points a game. Like, those bigs, they're not around anymore. Like, you have a lot of, you know, like, the bigs you have that are really big guys, they are rebounders, they are defenders, they are defensive specialists. You know, they are guys that are right around the rim. And both of those guys, I feel like, fit that mold. Foose is a little bit more skilled. He's more of a guy you could throw it into him and let him go. But yeah, I think that they, you know, athletically, they're going to stack up well. You need more of them. 2's not enough for the Big 12. You need 4 or 5. But that's definitely a good start.
Trent Placid is with us on BYU Sports Nation. Trent, I just talked about Mark Pope's success landing big-time recruits in the transfer portal. He's had great success with it at Utah Valley. That has extended to BYU. I mean, we're talking Matt Harms, Alex Barcelo, T. John Lucas, Jake Toolson. I kind of feel like he talked Yoli Childs back from going pro, which, you know, kind of feels like winning another transfer, if you will. Do you feel like he has it in him to replace that many positions? There are 4 open scholarships right now, so he's been landing 1 or 2. Do you feel like Mark Pope has it in him to fill all 4 of those spots with big-time transfers?
I mean, let me put it this way. Whether it's in him or not, he's going to fill those roster spots. So that he's going to fill those spots. Now, if it's big time or not, I guess that's up for debate. I would agree with you that he's had a lot of success with the transfer portal. So, like, I have – it's, like I said, it's wait and see, right? Like, it's a tall order to fill 4 scholarships with really high-level transfer, you know, portal kids. A lot of times you're in the transfer portal because you want more playing time, you want this, you want that, and like to say that same message to 4 people, I think becomes a little bit more challenging because it could kind of come across maybe disingenuous. So like, okay, you're saying this to 3 other guys, like how many shots are there in a game, kind of a thing. But I do believe that you can get 4 really quality individuals in those roles. And he's proven he could have success doing it. So like I said, I'm going to wait and kind of reserve judgment on it all until like we see what happens. Obviously, like the last couple of weeks has been hard to take with 7 people, you know, saying that, you know, I don't want to be here anymore. But you kind of got to give the other side of the coin time to develop as well. So I'm just kind of waiting and seeing how it all shakes out. But I do think he has the potential to do it for sure.
Trent, I'm interested on your thoughts around the transfer portal. Like, you know, you played professional basketball. We were counting them up, eight different countries over 10 years. So we're going back, you know, a decade, a little bit more than a decade to your time here. It wasn't like this. It didn't seem like. It's almost hard to keep a 6th or 7th man on a roster now because the 6th or 7th man is looking to get out, transfer without penalty, and go be a starting 5 guy. What's your thought on the impact on college basketball? Is this good or bad?
I mean, overall, like you got to give players the opportunity to exercise the same rights as those coaches to my degree. Like if a coach gets to leave and, you know, go to another school and be eligible to coach right away, I think players should be too. So I think that's fair. And to be honest, when I was in school, yeah, it was a long time ago. I'm an old man now, but like people were transferring then. Like it's always been around. I think now it's just been heightened to some degree. Like the penalty is gone. So I think some kids that maybe didn't want to sit out a year, like would you know, are more apt to leave. But I will say this, and this is not to bash anybody at BYU at all. I think 7 kids leaving, whether they were leaving of their own choice, whether they were somewhat pushed out or whatever that may be, that's not what you want, right? That's not what you want at BYU, to have 7 kids leave. I think it's very normal to have a couple, 2, 3, maybe even 4, but 7's too many. So that's kind of where I sit with it. Does that, you know, hopefully it's an aberration, but we'll see how it shakes out. But the transfer portal at this point in time, it's a new age. It's obviously a lot of more power to the players. And I just think you got to manage it correctly.
So the name, image, likeness thing obviously is becoming more and more of a topic, and certainly factors into why guys are now more keen to transfer, because frankly, other schools can say, hey, you come play for us, you can start, and we're going to make you money with this so-and-so huge company. Trent, what do you think about the involvement of NIL in pushing the narrative that you can always come over here where the grass is greener and find it better? What would you say to those guys? Or are you for this and for the players doing more of this?
Yeah, I mean, NIL, I think it's a great thing. But, like, let's be honest, the transfer portal, if you are crushing it at your current university, right, you are probably going to have more NIL deals at your current place than you will likely at another place, right? Because you're already a big name there. You're already established there. So those are not the kids, I think, that are, yeah, there's probably going to be exceptions to every rule. You know what I mean? But, like, the kids that are crushing it at their current university, you know, getting a lot of playing time, scoring a lot of points, those aren't the ones that are usually like, oh, I'm going to go bounce somewhere else. You know what I mean? That's not the way this is going. And then the ones that aren't playing are the ones that are more apt to leave, and they're probably not going to another place because, oh, we've got all this NIL money for you because you were so good at that previous school. You know what I mean? That's not the way it usually bounces out. But I do think it's going to play a role. Obviously, you've got, you know, high-level recruits and things of that nature that maybe are disgruntled, have an opportunity to go somewhere else, and the NIL deal will come into play. But like I said, it's part of the gig, right? And, you know, that's just the nature of the game now. I think BYU's positioned itself well. I've seen a lot of really positive things come with BYU and the NIL with, you know, the football team and others. So, like, I think that BYU can manage that really, really well and really be on the upside of that and be progressive as opposed to being reactive with it, which is a good thing.
Trent, you played 10 seasons over in Europe, and people don't get a chance to follow you as much when you're across the Atlantic Ocean and over there playing. We mentioned it again: Italy, Croatia, Ukraine, Turkey, France, Germany, Japan, and Lithuania. You spent 10 years over there. What was that experience like for you as a basketball player, but also as just as a human being in all these different places?
Yeah, I mean, simply put, it was life-changing. You know, I remember going over there first. I started in Italy. I remember I showed up and, like, my whole world just got rocked. You know, I didn't serve a mission, guys, so I didn't know what that was like. I didn't know going foreign countries. I went to France one time with BYU for like 2 weeks, which was not really a realistic thing. And, like, I remember showing up to Italy, and I had this, like, American ego, which I still have to some degree, but, like, that America was the best at everything. We were the best at sports. We were the best at just the best, right? And you quickly find out that while that's somewhat true, it's also very much not. That there's a lot of really good ways of doing things, and that other countries do some great things. And, like, my view of the world is just completely changed for the experiences I had over there. Like, to the point where, like, it's made me a better person to be able to you know, really interact with all different cultures. I lived in Muslim countries. I lived in Buddhist countries. I've lived, you know, where religion is not really a big thing. I lived all over the world, and just to see that people are people everywhere. They all have kids. They all have families. They want them to do right. It kind of gives you a perspective of the world that you don't see when you're in America watching the news and everybody's like the worst. You know what I mean? So, like, I really, really appreciated my time over there.
Trent, citizen of the earth.
Absolutely.
Trent placed it and representing BYU all over the globe.
He's citizen of the earth.
Yes.
Trent, it's great to talk to you. I know you don't want to run up and down basketball courts, but your basketball analysis is awesome. So I think you should do this with us more often.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm always open for the invite, you know, so, like, let me know I can help. I'm always happy to help. But you guys have a great day. I appreciate you having me on for a few minutes, and look forward to chatting more in the future.
You got it. Trent placed it on BYU Sports Nation.
Hey, coming up,
citizen of the earth.
He's the citizen of the earth, man. Yeah. So coming up, helping your team break not one, but 2 school records in a weekend. That gets you on BYU Sports.
It's what they do.
You get invited on a show when you do that.
And will Chris Brooks be the next BYU running back to make an NFL roster? 3 in the last 5 years. This is BYU Sports Nation.
My name is Spencer Finnegan. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. During my sophomore year, I got married to my sweetheart, Mary, and there's tons of unexpected expenses when it comes to marriage. We were looking for scholarships. I found the replenishment grant, and my local alumni chapter gave me a grant to help me focus in on school. I'm so excited to, now that I've graduated, give back to those students that are coming to BYU in the future.
Byu Food2go's convenient location at 2191 North Canyon Road in Provo makes bringing popular BYU foods to your next event easy. Everything's ready when you need it at the drive and load pickup. You drive in and they load no matter the weather. And stop in the on-site creamery for great BYU chocolate milk and ice cream. Byu Food2go, bringing campus to your table. Call for details, 801-422-5001.
Luxurious blanket. Getting cozy with family and friends. A gift for everyone. Minky Couture, official luxury blanket of BYU Athletics.
Gather the family for a midweek pick-me-up with an all-new lineup Wednesdays on BYU TV.
Is that cool? Is that okay?
You want inspiring? Yeah, we got that. Fun? Definitely. And surprising? Well, you'll just have to find out. Enjoy a marathon of good works to lift and inspire you for the rest of your week. See it all Wednesdays on BYU TV or anytime on the free app.
BYU Sports Nation is brought to you by Marissa, enabling global trade for a growing world.
He is Blaine Fowler. I'm Spencer Linton, and this is BYU Sports Nation. To interact with the show and get fantastic content throughout the day, you can follow us on all of the major social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Blaine, it's time to whip it. Cougar Whip Around, presented by Marissa, your integrated container logistics company, enabling global trade for a growing world.
All right, let's start with this. BYU has had 3 running backs, you just teased it a minute ago, make it in the NFL on a roster in the last 5 years.
It's wild.
It is wild. Will Christopher Brooks, the transfer from Cal, make it 4 in the last 6?
The way this offensive line is stacking up, Blaine, I like his chances, because he was a little bit under the radar at Cal, but he never ran behind an offensive line like BYU has at Cal. In fact, that was part of the reason he couldn't stay healthy, is he's just kind of getting banged up and they were inconsistent. I mean, Cal's not a great team. At best, middle of the pack, Pac-12 in their best year while Christopher Brooks was there. If he's on a 10-win BYU team running behind that line and goes for 1,000+, I say absolutely he's the next BYU running back to make an NFL roster.
Watching him spring ball, he looks like an NFL running back. The way he moves, the size, the build. You walk up to him and you go, yeah, this guy can do it. And I agree with you. And pedigree, the place that you come from, if they've got a track record.
Yes.
And the 3 of 5 you just mentioned, that's a track record. They're going to go, well, here's another guy. Let's take him. BYU's guys do it. They know how to work. They play. They contribute. Let's take this guy.
Jamal Williams, Tyson Williams, Tyler Algier. They like Christopher Brooks' physicality like Tyler. That style of runner, why not?
I agree.
Okay, Blake Freeland, speaking of high-level BYU football players, is no joke, projected as the 5th overall pick according to FanSite next year. Over under Blake Freeland being a top 10 draft pick in the 2023 NFL draft.
I was just watching a highlight film of him the other day, and it's surprising. I mean, I've been watching him since he stepped on campus. It's surprised me how good he is. If you go watch his highlight film and you watch the way he moves, for a guy that's 6'8" and 300+ pounds, he moves like a former high school quarterback, right? Which he was.
That is crazy.
It's unbelievable that he played quarterback.
It's crazy.
But this is the way BYU's gone with recruiting. Let's go get long, athletic dudes. Let's grow them into the position. And I know that NFL scouts 2 years ago were saying if this guy can fill out and take advantage of his skill set, he can be a first-round draft pick. And now all of a sudden we see a site saying he's a first-round draft pick. I think top 5.
That's a lot.
That's saying something. Top 10 saying something. But I'm comfortable saying by the time he gets done this next year, he's a first-round draft pick.
Okay.
I say he's a first-round draft pick. I don't know if he's top 10, but I say he's a first-round draft pick.
Well, it's not just one site now. 24/7 Sports has Blake going number 21 overall. So I guess we should get used to this rhetoric.
Yeah, it's, hey, stay healthy, get better. That dude, the sky is the limit.
Yeah,
he is a player.
Top 10's a stretch right now, but who knows?
Okay, well, next, with the additions to Kalani's football staff, the expectations of more to come. He added a bunch of positions yesterday. What position are you applying for on his staff?
Strictly for the title, Chief of Staff. Sorry, John Swift, I'm coming for you. Just the title. Like, it's like he's got a cabinet in there. Kalani's the president, though Kalani said to us off the air, it's more like Tom is the president, and I'm the Secretary of Defense, which I like for Kalani too. But Chief of Staff, I like that. That's the position I'm applying for.
That's a good one. I mean, Tavito Fangawi also has the title, like his Twitter says that he's the Director of Awesomeness, but that's what I want to be. If I can't be really, I want to be the CFO. I mean, this thing's becoming like a corporation, college sports, and I want to be the CFO. I want to mind the money.
Oh, I put you in charge of my money.
Mind the store. So if I can't be the Director of Awesomeness, then I want to be the CFO of the football program. That's my position.
Yeah, I think we'd also fall back to the equipment manager because there's some seriously awesome swag coming out, right?
It's all about the gear.
Oh, it's all about
that's
the
the
swag,
most loved position.
The drip. Okay, Josh Hewitt. Speaking of the drip,
there you go.
The new director of football equipment at BYU tweeted out the following video of his daughter in red and notably crying, then in BYU gear and all of a sudden happy. Is this the best way to endear yourself to the BYU fan base?
Absolutely it is.
With a baby?
Now, I'm not saying you and I are this way, but almost, I would say a very high percentage of BYU fans, their favorite team is BYU, and their second favorite team is anybody Utah's with. And so I think when you go red cry, blue happy, oh yeah, fans already love Josh Hewitt. They don't even know him yet.
Now technically Josh comes from UNLV red, but the point remains.
Aren't they scarlet? They're not red. There's UNLV scarlet.
The point remains with the Utah BYU thing. Like most people are going to look and think Utah BYU. But yes, it's a fantastic play by Josh.
I love it. Great play. He's going to be great.
Cute baby too.
He'll be the most loved guy on the staff. The equipment guy always is. So, well, coming up, a rising shout out to the expanded staff.
And a two-time record breaker in a single weekend joins us. Lauren Ellsworth Barnes hanging out in Studio B. This is BYU Sports Nation. Here letting you know when your company joins the BYU team as a corporate partner, your brand can be featured in sports programming on BYU TV and BYU Radio. In addition to all of the great games, you can be part of the BYU coaches shows, place your message in Countdown to Kickoff, basketball pre- and post-game shows, and each weekday on BYU Sports Nation. We invite your team to join ours and become a corporate sponsor of BYU Athletics. For details, email sponsorship@byu.edu today.
Tim Daly Ford in Spanish Fork sells Ford vehicles including the F-150, the pickup designed for work and play. Tim Daly Ford maintains a large inventory, providing more choices for selecting an F-150 with the power and engineering to carry and tow heavy loads. The F-150's design offers comfort, safety, and a range of options to choose from. Think Ford, think Tim Daly Ford in Spanish Fork.
As we've spent time working with so many groups around the world, we've learned a lot.
I have really learned the importance of gratitude.
African electrical systems.
Well, I've learned that Kieran actually loves concrete.
The power of cooperation.
But above all,
we've learned the world is a family.
And fixing someone else's problems
ends up fixing my own.
BYU Sports Nation is presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere.
The BYU TV app is the place to watch recent and old BYU sports games. Get your VOD fix on the BYU TV app today.
Welcome back to BYU Sports Nation live from Studio B alongside Blaine Fowler. I am Spencer Linton, and we are super excited to have a two-time record breaker just in the last weekend from BYU Women's Track and Field with us, Lauren Ellsworth-Barnes. I hope you get the week off after breaking 2 records.
Not quite. Still have things to do. So.
Okay, fine. We just learned something about the 4x800 race, okay, which is one of the races that you broke the record in, right?
Yes.
You, in the exchange of the baton, were tripped up by your teammate, stepped on, had to get stitches. Oh, by the way, you still went on to break the record even though you fell down during the exchange. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah. So during the exchange, my sister was coming in to hand me the baton, and she was the one that stepped on me, and she was the reason why.
It had to be your sister.
Yeah. She was like, actually, I'm grateful that it was me and not anyone else that did it, because you'd be really angry.
Well, you're not angry with your sister?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
You know,
it happens.
It happens.
So how do you keep your composure? I mean, take us through that. How do you keep your composure, and did that put you a little bit behind?
So it did kind of put us a little bit behind. Honestly, I got up pretty quick. I was like 2.5 seconds that I lost from falling. So I got up pretty quick, and then I didn't keep my composure. I just said, I was running, and I was like, you are going way too fast right now. And then I was like, you know what? Go out and die. And because I didn't really want to be with the group anyway. So because the reason why I fell was because we came in with a pretty big group. So I didn't want to be with the group. So I was like, I'll just be ahead of the group. And
so you were well ahead of the group, and you wanted to maintain that lead.
Well ahead is relative, but
Sure. Okay, you're running in the front.
Yeah.
And there's something when you're running and you're running 800. Mm-hmm. So there's a pace that you have in your head, and that people are helping you be aware of as you're watching, as you're going. So you got way ahead of that pace. Is what you're telling us.
I got a little excited after I fell, yeah.
And should you calm yourself back down and take note and calculate in your head and go back to where you should have been?
No, if someone started like coming up next to me, I was like, I need to find something else than me and do it for my team. So it was like, I didn't really like change. You naturally will slow down.
What is it like to run a race and set a school record with your sister after having dealt with some significant adversity like that in the middle of the race?
It's really special. Running with my sister, we do the same event, and so I always run against her, and I consider that also with, but it's fun when the success is both of us together. So.
And that's and track is a team sport, but it's a bunch of individual contributors inside of a team sport for the most part, except for the relays. So the relays are, and you guys went back and participated in the Penn Relays.
Yes.
Which is all about relays.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that experience. I ran in the Penn Relays as a high schooler more than 30 years ago. I grew up in New York, and Penn Relays was it. It's the oldest track meet in the United States. Pretty prestigious. What was that like back there?
Oh, it was amazing. The history, the crowd, everything. Like people, so I started my mission in Iowa. People in Iowa were like, I watched the Penn Relays because that's like where Iowa, it's going to be there, and just different things like that. And just all on the East, like it's just like, we're like, oh, we're here for the Penn Relays. And we're like, oh my gosh, that's so fun. We talked to a guy at the park, and he was like, oh, I go and I clean up the stands every single year at the Penn Relays. And it just, every single person we talked to is like, this is the place. And I was like, this is kind of fun.
Okay, so you've got your historic backdrop.
Yeah.
And then you make history for BYU.
Yeah.
The story gets better and better with Lauren Ellsworth-Barnes of BYU Women's Track and Field on BYU Sports Nation. Let's talk about the other record-setting performance, the Medley Relay. What's your role in the Medley Relay? And for those that don't know much about it, walk people through what happens in that relay.
Okay, so the distance Medley Relay consists of 4 different distances. There we go. The 1,200 meter,
which is 3 laps,
and then the 400, the 800, which is 2, and then the 16, which is 4. So for this one, I was the 1,200 meter leg.
Okay.
So I was the leadoff leg.
You ran 3/4 of the mile.
Yes.
Okay.
Didn't have to worry about anybody stepping on you.
Yep. Didn't have to have anyone stepping on me. We actually did that one on Friday, so it was nice but then after on Saturday, that's when we did the 4x8. But it's really cool. it's fun when it's all different types because you're bringing it in, I'm bringing it in a little bit slower, and you hand it off to the 400 leg who pops off sub 60, 400, and then pops off a fast 800. Like it's just a really fun, fast race.
Did you know, when you set the pace, were you like, okay, this could be special? Like after you handed the baton off, did you know?
No, I didn't. We were going for more of a win than anything. That's when we got the wheel. So we were going for the win, and I think it's special when you go for a win rather than time because times will come.
When you look at that board, there's some BYU track records that have been there for a long time, right? And so what's that like now that your name's going to be there for 2 all-time records, and who knows how long it'll be before somebody breaks those 2 records?
It's really special. You all got a lot of history and a lot of really amazing athletes that have come through BYU. So,
okay, so I'm always fascinated by all of the things that athletes accomplish outside of actual competition. Frankly, Lauren, you're making me feel like I'm not doing much with my life.
She's a Renaissance woman.
Okay, seriously, listen to this. So you play the violin at a high level, the piano, high level. You run track, break records. Oh, and you're in the nursing school with your sister, and you have a second major in exercise wellness. Lauren, do you sleep? Do you enjoy life anywhere? Do you do anything else?
What do you do for fun?
I do a lot of things for fun. The second major was added on because I wanted to run, and I wanted to continue to run. So got into the nursing program, and it was like a little special thing. And do I sleep? What do I do for fun? I cook. I hang out with my husband.
You have time for your husband.
I do have time.
Okay.
Not as much.
Lauren, I shouldn't have phrased it that way anyhow, because when somehow that question implies that playing the violin and playing the piano and running track aren't fun. So they are fun.
They are fun. That's why.
So you have fun doing those things. So I should have just said, what else do you do other than these crazy things that take a lot of time?
What else can you add to the list that makes them impressed?
Yes, that's pretty cool. And your younger sister, who you run track with, is also in the nursing program.
Yes, she is. I think she's one of the reasons why it makes it doable is because we both pick up our slack. So if I need help with something, she helps me out, and vice versa.
No, we need to give her the proper shout out. And correct me if I'm saying her name wrong. Is it Elena?
Elena.
Elena. Okay. With an E.
Yeah, A-L-E-N-A. Yeah.
Okay, Elena. At some point, I'm guessing we're going to have your sister on this program too, because she's breaking records as well.
I mean, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a superstar.
Number 8 in the country. Does that matter right now to you, to be a top 10 team, or are you worried about other things?
I'm worried about other things. I think as a team, it's a huge accomplishment to be number 8 in the country, but I think every single one of us, the sprint group, the distance group, the throwing group. You guys had Ashton on here.
Yeah.
I think we're all just putting our head down and going to work, and I think that's when amazing things happen.
Okay, during the break, because you are at a clearly elite level, we need your signature on that Sailor Crew flag just behind us. We'll have you step down during the break and give us your signature if you don't mind.
Okay.
And I know you're looking at my blue fingernails.
I was going to say, Spencer, who does your nails?
It's Taylee Williams of BYU Softball. First time ever. It was an experience, for sure.
Yeah.
But, hey, the Nike sign on this that's why I look pretty good, right?
That's pretty freaking good.
This, I think, right here is next level.
This would look pretty sweet as you're breking records on a track.
I know. I
can put you in contact with Taylee. And we're going to give you some BYU Sports Nation karma. What's your next event?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, you're going to win it because you were on the show.
Yep.
So the karma's going to come around.
Whatever you have coming up, you will win.
Lauren, great to talk to you. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
800 specialists, 1,500 specialists, and
she'll
a record breaker in
and she's good. And this gives us good karma when you sign this.
Yes.
And you good karma. So.
Fantastic.
Spencer, what we got coming up?
All right. How about we get to our Rise and shout out? You know what? She's a nominee for it. So maybe we should think about giving it to her.
Yes.
But you'll see. You got to wait. Coming up next on BYU Sports Nation.
Accidents don't just happen 9 to 5. They happen when you least expect them. The team at Siegfried & Jensen is here for you 24/7. Nights, weekends, every day, every hour. Really here for you. No matter when you call us, you'll speak to a real person and have access to the same expertise and personal attention as always, and get the legal help you need when you need it. Nights, weekends, every day, every hour, 24/7.
Learn more at siegfriedandjensen.com.
Dexter & Dexter is a full-service law firm offering a wide range of legal services. Since 1995, we have helped more than 20,000 Utahns both to navigate life's challenges and to make the most of life's opportunities. From car accidents to business law, from divorce to estate planning, we are passionate about shouldering your burdens. To learn more about scheduling a no-obligation consultation, visit dexterlaw.com.
Follow the ups and downs of elite young gymnasts and an exclusive behind-the-scenes look as they twist, flip, and bounce their way to the podium. See the commitment, effort, and mindset it takes for these competitors to rule their sport on Gym Stars, on BYU TV, or on the free app.
Describe what the well symbolizes in 6 words. When you're down, keep on wishing.
That crazy well brings hope to the hopeless.
Help others feel better.
Wishes, Ireland, and mystery.
Life changing. The well symbolizes hope.
This portion of BYU Sports Nation is presented by Mountain America, the official credit union of BYU Athletics.
BYU Sports Nation always available on demand via the BYU TV and BYU radio apps. You can Google BYU Sports Nation podcast if you want to download that. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the show. Alongside Blaine Fowler, I'm Spencer Linton. We've got about 1:45 to get through the rest of this, Blaine. With our question of the day leading it off, is it too early to be concerned about next season for BYU basketball? Our elite voice of the day presented by Sundance Mountain Resort from @Cougar Stats, Blaine, who says, in terms of when past transfers have been announced during the Mark Pope tenure, that has ranged from late April to as late as August 1st, which is when Alex Barcelo joined.
Right, that's right.
Great point by Cougar Stats.
Yeah.
There might be concern about how many players need to be found, but the timing shouldn't be a concern yet, he says.
Okay, I'm with him.
It's too early, right? It's too early.
Interesting what Trent Playstead said to us in that, like, he expects 3 or 4. 7, he just felt like it was a little too many. But I like the core that's coming back, and I like the recruits that are coming back. I think they can contribute right away. I'm actually not that concerned.
Today's Rise and Shout Out presented by Mountain America, the official credit union of BYU Athletics. There are a bunch of guys that have some new roles within the BYU football staff, Blaine.
Yeah, I'm excited for all of them. Chief of Staff, John Swift.
John Swift, the job that you want, absolutely. Just, there's so much power in that title. Good grief. All right, our thanks to today's guest, Trent Playstead, and the fabulous Lauren Ellsworth Barnes.
Yeah, and you know what? Sorry to Dennis Pitta. I mean, this happens a lot, but we ran out of time. The conversation continues 24/7 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook using the hashtag BYUSN.
There you go. For Blaine Fowler, I'm Spencer Linton. Let's go ahead and give a shout-out to Mike Meese. Remember him?
Mike Meese, our old punter.
Mike Meese. We'll see you tomorrow on BYU Sports Nation. Go Cougs!